Kia ora everybody, welcome. We're doing a quick Q&A with the cast and director of Titus Andronicus from the Court Theatre. So I'm just going to quickly ask everybody to go around and explain who you are, what you're doing here. Yeah, that's it. So Eilish.
Okay, I'm Eilish Moran and I'm playing Tamara, Queen of the Goths in Titus.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Burns. I'm playing Lucius and Nurse.
G'day, I'm Jack Marshall and I'm playing Quintus and Publius.
We'll work on that.
Yeah.
My name is Ralph McCowan-Howell, I'm playing Demetrius.
I'm Dan Bain, I'm the director.
I'm Baki Amani, I'm playing Aaron Demont.
Hi, I'm Cameron Douglas, and I'm playing Saturninus and Alabas.
Hi, I'm Ben and I'm playing Chiron.
I'm Tom Cavallaro, I'm playing Marcus.
Owen Blake playing Titus.
I'm Mary Pauls and I'm playing Lavinia.
Ollie Humphreys, I'm playing Matthias and Sempronius.
I'm Fergusander, I'm playing Bassianus and Emilius.
Great. I'm Jordan, I'm the stage manager for the show. I thought I'd ask some questions so you guys get to know some insider knowledge before we start. So my first question, anybody can answer it. What have been the challenges that you've faced so far in the room?
It's hard because it's going to be very bloody and there's going to be a lot of blood on stage. And so we're trying to figure out how we're going to do that and manage to keep the actors safe while the whole thing is a bloody mess.
Because there's a lot of blood, but there's also a lot of people. And so there's a lot of traffic to manage.
Yes.
Or even just the mechanics of losing fingers or heads or...
Yeah. How does one get inside a pie?
I don't know. Dan, do you want to add anything for that question?
Well, I think one of the big challenges that perhaps won't be evident when we get on stage, but that's actually just being the heat that we're working in. It's really hot in this room, and it's a play that isn't forgiving of kind of coming in at 50%. So, I mean, I constantly feel overheated and disgusting, and I just sit there kind of saying do it better. There's kind of an extraordinary amount of work and sweat kind of collectively being generated by this group of people, which is challenging.
Great, cool. That's some of the challenges. Now we can actually talk about some of the highlights that have been already happening in the room so far. Does anybody want to kick us off?
I think it's been really exciting for me, and I would imagine others, to try to discover kind of what the style of this piece is, both the play itself, which can be so gory but also silly and lives across this crazy spectrum that we're all trying to get comfortable in, but also trying to marry different approaches to Shakespeare. People from different countries, like, you know, I'd never heard Shakespeare in a New Zealand accent until this show began. But also different kind of ages and educations and just ways of hitting the text.
A personal highlight has been like being part of the production. It was my first court production, and getting to know everyone in the cast has been really lovely. They've been very supportive, so that's been a bit of a highlight. But also getting my hands chopped off, that's quite fun.
Cool. So as you probably know, Chicago, the musical, just finished. We actually have a few of those cast members here. Can you put your hand up if you were involved in Chicago? Great. I want to ask you guys, what has it been like since you were just singing and dancing for a few months on that show? What's it like to go from jazz hands and glitter to gore and passion?
There's still glitter.
Yeah, still glitz and glam in this. What I'm trying to say. I don't know really. I think it's a nice change of pace, but it's still just this show, as you were saying, has such an intensity to it that you can't afford to come at it at 50%, you know, so it still has that real punchy, get in there and get into it.
You have to be fit for both shows. We had to work very hard for Chicago's, particularly all the ensemble dancing and all the singing, you know, getting mic'd up. There's a lot of time used for that, and we really had to be on our game for that, but then we have to be for this as well, but it's just slightly different, and vocally we have to be very strong for this, and because it's quite highly strung emotionally, it's again just making sure you're placing your voice in the right place, so we're not going to have no voice the next day. So there's all those sort of stuff as well, which sounds boring, but it's just what we have to do as actors.
Yeah, and I think although it's still theatre, it's the two ends of the spectrum, right? We've got Shakespeare at one end and musical theatre at the other, so I mean they're quite separated, but that's not to say that Shakespeare's language isn't musical, or which sounds pretty pretentious. But yeah, there's certainly like rhythms and musicality to all the lines, and that's
Maybe they're like so far at ends of the
it's like a
spectrum
full
that
circle.
they actually join up.
Wow.
I feel like it's been quite interesting thematically because they're so tied by the theme of murder. But in Chicago, it's quite frivolous. It's like murder is entertainment, and in this, the stakes are so high, and each murder is, the fate of a nation.
I think it's been quite fun doing such a contrast as well, like because we overlapped for 2 weeks, so it was kind of nice to have a really intense day of rehearsals and then be able to go and sing and dance. Do a musical.
Do glitter, yeah.
Great. So my next question, kind of going on from that point, saying that this show involves a lot of murder, what do you feel are the strongest values that are coming through in this play, or specifically the production that we're putting on of this play?
Well, I think family and honour are very important in this. And you're playing my dad, so I hope he thinks it too.
I think it's also a play with a lot of strong female characters in it. We've created a female character by Ginger bending Lucius, but like Tamara is this active antagonist to Titus, and she's cruel, but she's got a lot of drive to her, whereas Lavinia goes through a lot, and she's used as like a plot piece a lot of the time, and then I just think the two characters are so different, and then they display a lot of different kinds of female strength. And then we're adding Lucius into the bargain too, which is awesome. So
Yeah. For me, for Tamara, thinking about the female characters coming from Miriam, why she does what she does is because her son gets killed basically at the beginning of the play. So I've got a really heightened emotional journey from the beginning. But the reason why she does it, I don't find that a hard thing to play, but playing it is really hard work. But yeah, if someone killed my son, I mean, I can imagine that could be pretty awful. So that's actually understandable in many ways for me. Yeah.
Cool. Going on from that point, how have some of the others of you coped with some of the graphic and brutal elements of the play?
Hugs.
Hugs, yes.
Hugs are important in this particular one.
Yeah, it's about supporting.
Yeah.
And just checking in before and after the scenes, because they're quite full on.
Yeah, it's intense. Yeah, it's really intense.
Yeah.
Cool. For those of you who feel like you're playing a more evil character, how does it feel playing into that evil value? Maybe Bucky, you want to jump in on this?
Well, at the start it was pretty hard, like just thinking about everything he's doing. So I was like, how am I gonna put that? Because for me, I'm not really like an evil person. Like,
Let's do it. He's not.
It was really hard. Like, so I was like, how do I do this? Like, he end up killing people. He's getting away with it. Like, pretty easy, just like talking. So I was like, so I just did my research and worked on him. How can play?
Cool. Dan, I'm going to shoot it back to you. So this is your first time directing on the main stage. How have you found the process?
I think the main thing that I'm really having to contend with is the sheer number of people I have available, or that are in scenes. I've never really worked with building stage pitches bigger than 3 or kind of 4 people. So to suddenly be like, there's a dozen people and they're all on stage and they're all doing stuff, or they're all trafficking on, and we need to be looking at this bit of it. Like that's certainly been the main difference. But I think everything it doesn't matter if it's like a drama is just a comedy without the jokes. It's still driven by timing and tension and making sure the audience is looking in the right place. So while the scale is bigger, the tool set to assemble the work is the same. And I think that speaks to the quality of the children's theatre that we put on in this theatre, more so than the lack of sophistication of Titus Andronicus. Hopefully.
Cool. One casting decision that you've made for this play is to have Kathleen playing Lucius, which is traditionally played by a man.
Yes.
So Kathleen, how have you found connecting with this character?
Totally easy.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. The things that are important to Lucius are the same things that are important to me, probably the same things that are important to you. Some of the hardships are a little bit more difficult than what I've had to face, but yeah, no worries.
Cool. Owen, question for you. What are your thoughts on Titus's sanity? Is he mad?
Well, he does some pretty crazy stuff. He is perceived as mad. It's a tough one, and it is one I had to really consider in prepping for this, because there are some scenes that get pretty wacky. He does seem to do some pretty crazy things, but the place I came to is that he just goes to another realm, another place of consciousness because of the terrible grief that he's dealing with. So everyone's grieving, or the rest of the family's grieving because of everything that's going on, but it's Titus who takes it the worst because it affects him the most, and therefore he just goes to another realm, and he's a man of action, and so his way forward is through action. So it makes sense when you view his actions in that way, that there is reason behind it, but those reasons are not going to be clear to others or make sense to others, and so I guess it does present as madness, and maybe it is madness, but he seems to know what he's doing, I think. Yeah.
Cool. Well, one of the conversations that we had was about Titus having his own internal logic. So that even if it's reading outside as being insanity, that it's not about playing crazy. It's about that kind of heightened or different logic.
Yeah, following a mental logic, basically. Yeah.
But that outsider kind of thought.
This is a question for Tom. You've been in a lot of Shakespeare plays at the court. How does this one differ for you?
They're all sort of their own, really, under the umbrella of being Shakespeare, which often you have to battle against some sort of, Shakespeare comes bundled with all this sort of, reverence and so forth and all the rest of it. And I think within this production, there's been an element of sort of shutting that off. And which I think is a good thing. We're still sort of dealing with the language, which is a given when you're dealing with the text. But they all present their own sort of challenges, and I think it's one of the big things with them, of course, is to try and make them relevant in some sort of way, and not to battle that sort of the language and the text that comes with it. But one of the things I like about this is that we are sort of although treating it with respect, not unduly burdening it with too much reverence, and sort of just getting on and just telling the story. So I think that's one of the good things about the piece we're doing.
Great. Kind of going on from that, why are you guys, as a cast, looking forward to sharing this story in particular with an audience?
There's something exciting in that it's not a story that a lot of audiences will have encountered before. As is often the case with Shakespeare. This isn't Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, or Hamlet. So people, I think a lot of the turns of the plot will be relatively surprising and new, and there's an excitement in telling that for a first time for an audience.
Cool.
It will be interesting to see how the audience do take the violence, and I suppose I'm interested in seeing how they do that. Yeah. I mean, in a terrible way.
It seems to be a sort of pre-thought idea of Shakespeare that it wouldn't be this bloody or this violent. You know, people go, oh yeah, I've seen this bit at the end of Romeo and Juliet. This, if you haven't seen it, someone dies.
What?
I know. But like this one is, I couldn't believe when I first encountered this play how many people died and how savage it was. And I was like, whoa, I thought it would be like not that savage.
But there's something really like relatable or like familiar about that. It looks like movies that you would go see at movie theaters or TV shows. It's if the right people come to the show, they will love it, even if they've never seen Shakespeare before or have no familiarity with theatre, because it is familiar for that reason, and it's violence or it's kind of just action.
Yeah. So I can see the difference how, like, when in the Roman times they go and watch gladiators fight. This is like a ye-old English version of gladiator fights without the gladiators fighting.
He's so good.
Final question for you guys. What's one reason that you think people should be coming to this play that they wouldn't have considered before?
The costumes are going to be so cool.
Yeah?
The seats, the lighting, everything. It's going to be amazing. Yeah.
It's a really intense play.
Yeah.
And it's, I think it'll be an experience, an emotional experience, because it's very heightened, it's very intense, there's so much going on, really high stakes. As this guy said, the technical aspects are really very exciting for us. So I think it's going to be an experience. Anyone who's up for Man, come check it out.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hell of a ride.
I don't think there's ever a dull moment.
Yeah.
That's like, I mean, it's all the latest Mad Max with a mate of mine, and we got about 45 minutes in, and finally he went, so you just breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think it's a bit like that. It just kind of keeps barreling on, and the audience just like, oh, okay, there's another thing.
I think so.
And another thing. And something else. Cool. Yeah.
Great. Okay, thank you guys. So that was a quick Q&A. If you just dropped into the last minute, I hope you've got something really great. Awesome. Thank you guys for joining us and for staying late today. And hopefully you come see the show. There should be details above or below. Click on something.
Click on something.